Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Welcome to my channel. This video is an English assignment. We are from 10th grade 3.
With accompanying teacher HORMAH HIDAYATUL ITSNA. We are from a group of 4.
Narrative text. Narrative text is read at leisure or for bedtime stories and can be watched on television.
Definition. Narrative text is the type of text that tells a chronological story in the past tense. Genre of narrative text. Fairy tales is story about the world of fairy tales. Mysteries is story about solving the problem of a mystery. Science fiction is related stories about science and technology that exceed reality, a mystery. Romance is a romantic story between a pair of human beings. Horror stories is stories about ghosts or anything scary. Adventure stories is stories about adventure. Fables is stories with animal characters. Folklore. These folklores are divided into myths, which tell about mythical things, legend, which tells the origin of a place whose truth is still uncertain, folktale, or it can also be called a fairy tale that is full of unreal fantasies fiction. Purpose. The purpose of narrative text: to tell stories or past events and entertain the readers. Other purposes exist: to entertain the reader, to amuse the reader, to teach moral value, to change social opinion. Generic structure. Generic structures exist. Orientation. It set the scene and introduced the participants. It answers the question who, when, westy, and where. Complication. Complications in narrative text are parts or paragraphs in narrative text that show a cause and effect relationship where problems or conflicts arise until the problem peaks climax. Resolution. The word resolution means a decision or unanimity of opinion in the form of a request or demand in a meeting or deliberation. Resolution can also be interpreted as a written statement containing demands about a matter. Language features. One. Tense. Narrative texts are usually written in the past tense. This is because the events or stories being narrated have already happened. For example, once upon a time, here was a young girl named Cinderella. 2. Personal pronouns. Narrative texts often use personal pronouns such as I, you, he, she, we, and they. These pronouns help to create a personal connection with the reader or listener. For example, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like nothing I had ever experienced before. 3. Dialogue. Narrative texts often include dialogue, which is a conversation between 2 or more characters. Dialogue helps to bring the characters to life and make the story more interesting. For example, hello, said the man, my name is Jack, what's yowd? 4. Descriptive language. Narrative texts often use descriptive language to create a picture in the reader's mind. This includes adjectives, adverbs, and sensory language such as sight, sound, and touch. For example, the sun was setting over the horizon, casting a warm orange glow over the valley. 5. Figurative language. Narrative texts often use figurative language such as similes, metaphors, and personification. This type of language helps to create a deeper meaning and add to the overall effect of the story. For example, the wind howled like a pack of wolves in the night. 6. Sensory details. Sensory details are used to engage the reader's senses and bring the story to life. Examples include, the aroma of freshly baked bread filled them, making his stomach growl. The water was icy cold, sending shivers down her spine. 7. Action verbs. Action verbs are used to describe the movement and actions of characters in the story, making it more dynamic and engaging. Examples include, she sprinted across the field, her heart pounding in her chest. He lunged forward, grabbing the ball just before it hit the ground. Example, Alice in Wonderland. One day, Alice was walking in the park when suddenly she saw a big white rabbit running very fast. Alice felt curious and started to follow him. The rabbit finally got into a very big hole. Without thinking, Alice decided to follow the rabbit and enter the hole. After walking quite far, Alice suddenly fell into a very large and strange room. Inside the room, Alice meets many strange creatures such as talking hearts, flying hats, and mice who like to tell stories. Alice was shocked and amazed by what was happening around her. Alice also met the Red Queen, who was very arrogant and told Alice to solve difficult puzzles. Alice finally managed to solve the puzzle and the Red Queen felt defeated. Alice continues to explore this magical land and meets many strange and interesting characters such as the Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, and White Rabbit. He learns many things from them and experiences extraordinary adventures. Finally, after a while in the magical land, Alice felt homesick and wanted to go back. He also met a wizard who gave him a magic potion to return him to the real world. Saddened, Alice left the magical land and returned to her ordinary world. However, Alice always remembered her extraordinary adventures in magical land and will always have them in her memory.
Thanks for watching.